Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Don't you just love seeing a headline like this one from the Crypto Basic? XRP finally crosses the $1 mark for the first time since 2021. Folks, it was just inevitable here. Look, there's so much to talk about. Frankly, it's at this point, this probably won't surprise you because there's so much volatility with XRP recently moving to the upside. It's actually very difficult to keep up with all the perspective and analysis from all of the analysts that I follow, but I do want to share with you some of the latest stuff here. But it's certainly very reasonable to expect that we are not going to be that far away from XRP finally hitting a new all-time high after almost 7 years. The XRP all-time high near $4 was on January 4th of 2018. I remember that day. I've been here for a hot minute. I still have all of my XRP. I've never sold a single XRP because I was new to crypto when that hit, so I didn't have a crazy amount anyway. But my bet was once that happened, I was like, okay, we're in bubble territory. This thing's gonna pop, and it ultimately did, of course. And so I thought, okay, I'm just gonna dollar cost average in, and that's what I did. Once I got down to 55 cents, I just bought a boatload. I literally spent years dollar cost averaging into XRP, making my final purchase in, I believe it was October of 2020. I think it was October. Could have been beginning of November, but I think October. And I've just been holding since then because my bet that whole time, and it still is true to this very moment, is that either I'm wrong about XRP and it eventually one day goes to zero, or I'm right, and at some unknown point in the future, XRP blasts off to a new all-time high, entering price discovery and melting phases. Now, you know which way I'm leaning here. I'm very optimistic that it is finally going to hit a new all-time high, but for me, it's a binary bet. One of those things will happen. XRP cannot and will not just range sideways forever, and pretty much every analyst under the sun at this point that I follow is like, oh, it has broken out of that 7-year symmetrical triangle. Oh, yes, like this is it, which frankly is not hard to believe based on the price action we've seen today, is it? So anyway, before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, here's some of the latest from chart analyst Mustache. And this is going to be another video that's pretty heavy, specifically on XRP, like very heavy, but there's a couple things I do want to cover similar to what I did in my very last video, because it kind of sets the table. I mean, yeah, great to just talk about straight up XRP analysis, but if you understand the broader context and how all of this, the entire asset class moves in tandem, then it's going to make a lot more sense, and you'll understand why it makes sense to just more rationale as to why it makes sense to believe that XRP really is just going to keep going. Not up in a straight line. There will be pullbacks. There will be big pullbacks even. But still, finally hitting a new all-time high. So there's this post from Mustache. Crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So we're talking about all of the altcoins here. That's what's on your screen going back about a decade. And so here's what he wrote. Hashtag altcoins. This is the most important breakout for altcoins since the start of the last parabolic run 4 years ago. Sounds crazy, but we haven't seen anything yet. Yes, dips will happen. Don't panic. Use them wisely. This will go so much higher if you ask me. And so as I always say, history doesn't literally repeat, but it pretty much rhymes with itself. And so you can see where we're at right now. He circled this point in orange where we are. You see this glorious, this beautiful green candle breaking up above the trend line that he drew there. And he's noted that the same thing happened last cycle and the cycle before that in 2016. Now, the cool thing is what happened after we finally saw that initial breakout from that trend line. You've got eyeballs, right? You got one or two of them? Look at that. Look at that in 2016, into 2017. And even last market cycle. Look at that, 2020, 2021. That's what we're starting. So this is the beginning, and XRP already popped up to like $1.25 or whatever. Who knows what it is by the time you're watching this. But think about that, how quickly that happened. We're at the start of this. And in the last two cycles, XRP, I mean, it was volatile throughout, sure, but there were two major bursts in each of the last two cycles for XRP. So even if XRP has to cool off for a little while at some point, which, I will not be surprised when that happens. It seems like a virtual certainty, but especially based on historic precedent. It still doesn't mean it's done. It doesn't mean it won't burst up way, way, way higher. It tricked people the last two cycles by bursting up and then moving sideways Some people capitulated, ran out of patience, and then the real show started about half a year later. So I don't know if it's literally going to be like that. I'm just sharing with you from a historical perspective what has happened. Okay, so Credible Crypto. He is the only analyst I follow that was warning we could see a notable move down in the entire market, specifically led by Bitcoin, though. And so before the election, he was warning that it's possible, not guaranteed, but possible that Bitcoin could get into the upper 40,000s, like $48,000, $49,000. He's, again, only analyst I follow that said this, but I've been covering it on my channel anyway because I really do think he's among the best of analysts out there. He's very good. He has an incredible hit rate. He's fantastic, among the best, if not the best, in terms of short-term priced action that I've seen. So even if he's wrong, it's like, okay, fine. He's not going to have a perfect hit rate. Nobody does. And sometimes the improbable happens anyway. So I'm not going to read this whole post. You can pause if you want to read exactly what he wrote here, but just a little bit of it here. He is warning there is a possibility, at least, we could see prices lower for Bitcoin to some degree. But I don't see really other analysts thinking that this is the most probable thing. So I just thought I'd share it with you. Take it for what it's worth. But he wrote, if we take our highs at $93,800 in a clear impulsive move that breaks $100,000 plus, then $72,000 and below is likely gone until the next bear market. If we instead sweep our highs and fail to produce a final fifth subwave, then it implies this move was indeed corrective and makes the odds of us retesting $70,000 to $72,000 at least exponentially higher. Okay, so it depends on what happens, but he is still warning, and he's not, I don't see him talking about $49,000 anymore, but he is warning you could see a really dramatic move to the downside. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not going to bother with a prediction on that because I'm not a chart guy. I just like to get perspectives from tons of reputable chart analysts, and it helps me get a feel for what's going on. And when you have a ton of analysts more or less saying the same thing, then usually what they say is probably going to happen. It does happen, which is the case with XRP. What have I been screaming for the last week and a half now? They're all saying it's going to go, and wouldn't you know it goes. That almost always happens when they're all screaming it, right? So it is useful to do this type of analysis. So I'm not a chart analyst, but I am a chart analyst. I analyze the chart analysts. So, and there is something to it. I firmly believe that. But as long as you track the right ones, not any crackheads or anything like that. So don't know that we're going to be moving to the downside. But in 2017, there were multiple pullbacks of over 30%. And then ultimately, market just kept going higher. So I'll not be shaken out when we see inevitably certain pullbacks. They're going to happen, including with XRP. Not the end of the world here, folks. Here's a post. So as far as short-term price action, is Bitcoin actually going to, is this a fake out? Are we going to see a move to the upside? Well, here's what chart analyst Tony Severino had to say. He said, if low time frame momentum turns back up, Bitcoin will see $100,000 next week. Woo, wouldn't mind that. Now, he's got a pretty good feel for what happens in markets, right? He was saying something about XRP. Look at this. There's a post from November 7th. He said XRP is primed for a breakout of relative strength index downtrend resistance. That was November 7th, and here we are, 9 days later, and what has happened? Well, as he noted here in this post just this morning, he wrote, doubled your money in less than 10 days with this one simple trick. XRP. It's true. So he's right about that. So let's see if his, seems like his gut's telling him there's a reasonable chance Bitcoin actually finally breaks 100K for the first time next week. I don't know. You're going to find out with me in real time, right? We're living through this. We're living through history. And look, I've also been highlighting, and maybe you got tired of hearing it if you've been following me for a while, but I've been highlighting throughout this year that XRP has been in a symmetrical triangle with decreasing volatility for almost 7 years. I've been saying that throughout the year, but inevitably it was going to break out. And I said it will break out with force to the downside or the upside. Not because I'm a wizard. I'm not even a chart guy. It's just based on historic precedent. And then look at what all of the analysts that don't suck are actually saying, and wouldn't you know it? It was a break to the upside, and we did get there, and it was before I hit the apex of the symmetrical triangle, which is almost always what happens. We're in a bull market, folks. This is not difficult stuff here, frankly. Even for a regular person like me, anybody can do this, right? Just pay attention. That's all I'm doing is paying attention, right? I'm not special just because I have a YouTube channel. Anyway, but look, so he shared this XRP USD chart. This is a chart analyst, Javon Marks. He says, and he highlighted, because he was covered in an article, it looks like from the Crypto Basic. Expert predicts XRP channel leading to massive breakout. That was on November 5th. These, I'm telling you, like pretty much every analyst that I follow that tracks XRP was saying more or less the same thing at roughly the same point in time. And they're all saying this goes much higher. And what happened? We did see that breakout. It has happened. XRP has broken out of that symmetrical triangle. And now what are the analysts saying? They're saying, like all of them, like it's hard to find anybody that won't say this. XRP, yes, hitting a new all-time high, entering price discovery. It shouldn't be surprising at this point, though, right? In fact, take a look at this. How about a Bollinger Band update? We've been covering this since like April of this year, randomly updating throughout the year. Here's a post from chart analyst Steph is Crypto, XRP USD chart. And he wrote, XRP has broken out of the Bollinger Bands just like in 2017. Last time, this setup led to an explosive rally. This could be the start of a historic surge for XRP. And so I mentioned something along these lines the other day. I want to make sure everybody hears this. When it comes to Bollinger Bands, regardless of what the asset is, when they get tighter and more narrow, like you're seeing where I'm circling, this is 2016 going into the 2017 rally, and then last market cycle, 2020 here, going into 2021, and then where we are right now. See how they're more narrow, the top and bottom portion of the band. When that happens, it does indicate that this thing's going to break. And it doesn't tell you which way it's going to break, but it's going to break with force. And historically, it has at each of the moments where the bands have gotten this tight. The tightest they had ever been before this cycle occurred for the bull run, where we saw that excitement in 2017 ultimately. Right where I'm circling the mouse here. Very, very tight and then explosive. And the volatility just went berserk, right? And then last cycle, we did not see a new record tightness for Bollinger Bands. And we also didn't see a new all-time high. Of course, the SEC was also attacking. But still, you can see it narrowed here. And then there were some fireworks still. XRP still did move with the market. But then there's this cycle. And this is why you should be ridiculously hyped up about this, frankly. I think it's only fair. XRP hit the tightest Bollinger Bands in history. And now it's broken out. They're no longer tightening. They're getting wider now. And it shouldn't be surprising. You can see the breakout. Look at the price of XRP. So historically, as this has happened, look at the last two cycles, it's led to monstrous growth. I mean, XRP, 2 cycles ago went from half a penny to almost $4. This is just the beginning for XRP, if history is to rhyme with itself, more or less. And you know what I'm betting. Here's a post from chart analyst Dr. Magic on September 30th. He said, don't be surprised if XRP pulls a move like this again. And so here it is. I'll make it full screen for just a second here. You can see what he's talking about, where we were at that moment at the end of September versus what had happened in a previous cycle. He's saying, don't be surprised. It's looking pretty samey here. And so he reposted that just this morning. And he said, think this is a good day to repost this. Yes, it is a good day to repost this because it has happened. It's unfolding. It's happening literally right now today. Oh, man. I hope you guys have been practicing your happy dance in the mirror so that you don't look awkward when you're doing it, because this is the day for the happy dance, my friends. Here's another post from Dr. Magic. Said, almost there. Some consolidation before continuation makes sense here. Once we get past this all-time highs shouldn't be far away. And I mean all-time highs, not prior cycles highs. So, and so he posted that just yesterday, and we've seen some more fireworks today, so it's following through. But he's saying, again, to be clear, here, I'll make the chart full screen. Get above these levels. You're talking about new all-time highs much sooner than later. That would be pretty damn incredible. Here's a post from chart analyst Greg Crypto. XRP, just do it update. And you can see why. It looks like the little Nike swoosh thing. It says XRP has to close above $1.10 this weekend. Our goal for this week is to close the partial weekly candle above $1.10. It's totally plausible, at least at the time I'm recording this. I mean, it's made it above that. Let's see where it closes here. That would be ridiculously exciting. If that happens, my God, I will not be surprised if we do indeed see continuation sooner rather than later. He also shared this. This is another post from Greg Crypto just this morning. And this was before XRP had some of its most exciting XRP price action, but still, today anyway. He says, XRP, the most critical structural target, $2. I believe many of my fellow technical analysts agree that the most critical structural target right now is $2. And so, folks, I'll just note, especially for those who maybe are newer to XRP or have forgotten, $2 was the cycle high last cycle. So it'll be interesting to see when it breaks through that with force. So, but anyway, so here's what he says. A monthly close above $2 with a solid candle would mean we're in uncharted territory for XRP. In simple terms, while all the targets I and other TA analysts, that's redundant, technical analysts mentioned are possible, we must consider the bigger picture like Bitcoin dominance, and the stock market. And he says, we are heading into new territory and we're about to see something unseen before. Get ready, cosmopolitan experience. So once it does get above that, look at some of these levels that he's citing here. Now, of course, you're talking about $12. That's, I don't know what's going to happen. Totally could buy that. This type of thing, not that he didn't state that, he thinks this is going to happen this cycle. I don't believe that's going to happen. As bullish as I am, and I am Mr. XRP bull here, believe that. It's my largest individual crypto holding. I don't believe that we're going to be seeing that. I mean, if things get really bananas, like, look, I don't even think this is going to happen, to be honest with you, but if you're talking about like $50, that's like the edge of what I can, that's roughly in the range of like what I can reasonably tolerate before I'm like, you're out your damn mind. Like, you start to lose me. I gotta cry uncle at some point. With each dollar you predict higher, the more I'm like, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Logic would dictate I would have to feel that way. So I'd be happy to be wrong, but how high would Bitcoin have to go to have that much money roll into XRP ultimately? And not that XRP couldn't at some point in the future hit something like that, but this cycle, highly skeptical. That is nowhere near what my base case would be for this. But no matter what, look, wherever it goes, whatever the returns are, we don't need that to get our life-changing wealth. We just need this thing to rocket off, hit new all-time highs. Would love to see double digits. Even if it's lower double digits, I'd still be over the moon about that. You know what I mean? You guys let me know what you think, though. I'll stop you up. And I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say are right. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.